So this is a new thing for Bulldog Radio. This is going to be, I don't know, we'll call it half-off apps advice or something fetchy. We're currently getting Applebee's half-off appetizers, which they should give us underwriting for.
Oh, yeah.
Saying this. We just saw Avengers Infinity War. My name's John Gustin. I'm with Tristan.
Yeah, hi.
Scribner. He's going to be the vice president. Well, not be, is the vice president of Bulldog Radio.
Yeah, hopefully
I am the former president. I graduate. And with us is Sarah Martinez, who is... we're all band geeks. So we're geeks who just saw Avengers Infinity War. And I think what we'll do is we'll do a spoiler-free discussion in the first half. And then the second half, all spoilers. Like, you guys are screwed, you guys will have warnings, there will be breaks, there will be music. And we're talking about this because this is an absolutely amazing event. So, initial non-spoiler reactions. I'll go last. Tristan, how do you feel about the movie? Do you like it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm honestly not that big of a Marvel or DC fan. It's not my total calling, but I, of course, enjoy a good movie. For it, really, I love the artwork, or at least how they did the scenes and whatnot. And I thought, really, the character build-up, that really played off well for them, which doesn't always happen for movies that you like add up to.
So I think we can kind of discuss the first third of the film. Mm-hmm. First part of the film is usually the spoiler-free. It's the ending where everything's going to be very interesting for you people out there. So don't add us for your reactions to this. But it's a really unique film. I don't think I've seen anything like this in really any movies so far.
No series recently, at least. Yes.
Nothing quite like this in terms of pop culture. Mm-hmm. So Sarah, what did you think?
Well, it was interesting. I'm a huge fan of Marvel in general. It was just really well done, written. There's a lot of pop culture references, make you laugh, a lot of humor in it. It's typical of the Marvel movies in general.
So, what's basic idea? Avengers Infinity War. I mean, basic plot points of any superhero movie, really. Bad guy wants to do something. In this case, Thanos wants to even the galaxy.
Yep, he wants to basically prevent overpopulations of the whole galaxy.
Right,
That's basically what
he wants
to do.
to prevent it on a very drastic level of killing everybody. So he believes getting the Infinity Stones will be the best way to do so. I mean, it would save a lot of time because right now he's been told for doing countless genocides. Mm-hmm. So Infinity Stones would save him time.
Indeed.
And obviously the Avengers don't want half the population of the galaxy to die, or not galaxy, universe. We go bigger than galaxy; it's universe.
The whole universe.
Yeah. So you have all the superheroes more or less meet up. There's a lot of fun interactions.
All the Marvel superheroes, yeah.
And they have a ball with it. So this movie was directed by the Russo brothers. They had done Captain America Winter Soldier and then Captain America Civil War. They did part Avengers Infinity War, this one, and then they'll do the follow-up Avengers movie to this. And then they're also known for doing TV shows such as Community and a couple of other more cult underground things that didn't... Arrested Development. That's why I think there's an Arrested Development reference in the movie. I didn't notice it until they talked about it in the credits. I don't think saying Arrested Development has a connection in here as a spoiler, but maybe it's a fun eye catcher for you guys to look out for. Mm-hmm. So they did Arrested Development, that got canceled, got brought back in Netflix, I don't think they're involved. Did Community, Marvel's like, oh, you guys did some things with Community. Highly recommend that show. They've got fun paintball western episodes, where it's the school-wide paintball episode, so it's really cool. And then they did it a couple times, so that brought them here. So they're used to dealing with large ensembles. And I think for the most part, we can't talk about the heroes, spoiler stuff, but right now, I think for the most part, how they handled the sheer number of characters was amazing.
What I really appreciate is the fact that even though they had all these huge top-notch characters, Captain America, Iron Man, Black Panther, they had all these characters that everybody loves. And what they did for them is give them their own screen time. They gave it at one point... Oh, thank you.
And then here we are. We have drinks.
Our drinks, yes.
Because I'm going to say this is a stressful movie. You will probably want something to help take the edge off a little bit, whatever that's ice cream for you or a root beer or whatever. I think this is salt.
Whatever John just ordered, yes.
I would assume so.
Yep.
That's salt?
Yep, salt, lime, okay.
Yep.
But anyway, I really appreciate the fact that they gave them all their own little time to like show their character in this movie and develop whatever is happening at this time for them. Almost like instead of having it all be right there, it's all these pieces of the puzzle that you all had to put together of what was happening all at once.
And I think they do seem to focus a little bit on maybe the newer characters or some of the newer released characters that were well received. Mm-hmm. So there's a healthy amount of screen time for Black Panther, new haircut Thor.
Oh yeah,
it's a nice amount of screen time.
Yeah.
Guardians get a decent amount with Mantis is fun, and Spider-Man's there throughout the whole film as well.
He comes in and he's a little comical. He's very comical actually. He's a bit of the comic relief for it. But also,
there was a decent amount of comedy to take the edge off of scenes, bouncing off here and there. Spider-Man's making quips. Doctor Strange and Tony Stark. We're just going to talk.
Their personalities.
Oh yes, they're.
What do you think was the best character pairing, Sarah? Like, there's lots of different moments where characters having dialogue bounce back and forth. Which one did you think was the most enjoyable for you?
Oh wow, anything with Doctor Strange and Iron Man. They're just personalities are so similar. They're just going to attack each other constantly, and they did. All the sarcastic comments back and forth so much.
I'd have to agree with that. Doctor Strange and Iron Man, just the two, not necessarily egos, but just the two minds bumping into each other, and that just didn't really end well. Because they're both in a bit of a panic state, and they're both used to being the ones who say, "Oh, I'm in charge, and we're going to do it this way."
The aggro male.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of a couple of the character pairings. You have a little bit further development relationship of Wanda and Vision.
Yes.
It's cute. It's endearing. Viz, I think, is their nickname for him.
Viz, yep.
I think the one I really liked was Thor and Rocket.
They're
on a quest together to go do something, help defeat Thanos, and they spend time bonding as two. Maybe not necessarily immature might not be the right thing to say, but Thor's gone a little dude bro, and Rocket's always a little gun ho.
Little gun ho, yep.
Unhinged, and then so putting them together is just mischievous fun.
Yeah, although going back to the egos, I feel like for Thor's attitude towards Rocket, I feel like his ego was spiking a little, and that he was getting to a point where like, oh, I am a god, and I've gone through all these horrors, and Rocket's just all like, oh, well, I like guns.
Well, yeah, they bond over a fondness of weapons. I mean, Thor had his truest love, obviously more longer lasting than Jane Foster's relationship.
Yep.
Was his hammer, and Rocket loves to make weapons and look at weapons.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I think that was really fun character pairing. Now, the movie really does... It gives all the Avengers a little bits of screen time, but the constant throughout the movie, really who gets lots of backstory is Thanos. It does a really good job giving them motivations, the emoting that they get out of the CG motion capture. It was really, really good. I mean, I've always liked Josh Brolin. I think the role I thought he had the most respect for him, like No Country for Old Men, is a solid film, but it's him running away from Javier Bardem.
Yeah,
it's not a hugely dynamic character, but when he was in Men in Black 3 doing his young Tommy Lee Jones impersonation, it was so perfectly spot on. Where I had never seen anyone exhibit another living person's body quite that way, that I was blown away. And so I've always really, really been fond of Josh Brolin since. Yeah. Fortunately, he did Jonah Hex, which was a DC movie that did not do so well, and it was not great. Had Megan Fox in it too. Free half off app to you out there who can name the last movie Megan Fox did, because I don't know.
Oh my gosh, there's so many, but yet again her population kind of
recently,
went down.
So, but Thanos, it's about him. He's trying to put together all these stones, and he's pretty unstoppable. So it follows his path to do so. And honestly, I think this has been an amazing renewal in villains. There has been very few villains developed in Marvel outside of Loki.
Yeah,
they definitely developed him a lot. Yeah.
Killmonger.
And could you even really consider Loki a villain anymore?
Not really.
In the beginning, yes, but now.
The only other main bad guy, if you want to call it, that they really developed. Maybe Darth Vader from Star Wars, but that wasn't even that much of a develop.
Yet.
Oh no, I know it's not Marvel, of course not. But
If you're
what
just
other,
looking
what other...
at the movie progression.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, but that guy had 6 movies, so
True.
Yeah.
And Loki's gotten a couple movies to get wrinkles in and out of, to see the grade of the character, and then we're assuming you've seen Thor Ragnarok, and if you haven't, stop right now and watch it.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's fantastic. So Loki was developed, obviously. I mean, by the time Avengers comes around, he's a fun villain for everyone to play off of.
Yeah.
Killmonger in Black Panther was a very well-developed villain, and then they did it again here with Thanos. Like, you don't have to agree with what he's doing, but the emotion and the connection, you kind of feel for the
You
guy
do.
at parts.
Yeah, you really do. You see him go through a struggle.
If you really look at it, what he wants to do is to make people's lives better. He just has a horrible way of going about it. But in general, the way of just... I don't know how to do this without spoilers.
So yeah, we're going to
that's
probably
difficult.
move on from the spoiler-free section in a moment, because I don't know how much more we can talk about this.
Before we do, though, one thing that I question, because I, having friends who are big into the comics, who came out way before the movies, does the movie that we just watched totally add up to any of the comic book series? Was there a comic book that exactly what happened here in the movie?
Kind of. Infinity Wars was the name of a comic series. Like they do these big comic book events where you need to like grab 20 different comics from all these different things to follow the plot, because the plot will bounce between them.
Yep, just like how you had to go through different movies.
There was one back in the 80s called Infinity War. Same basic idea of Thanos is going to get the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yep.
And that, though, he wants to kill the whole universe. So we're going to take a pause here for appetizers. So we'll do this.
You're lucky. We're not in the spoilers yet.
Do you know what you guys want to snack on a little bit?
I'm going to get mozzarella sticks.
Do you want ranch with it?
Yes, please.
You get that, and I'll get spinach artichoke.
Ooh, good choice. And
Can I get a glass of water also?
Yeah.
I will do boneless barbecue wings with ranch. And can I substitute carrots for the celery?
No,
Do you have carrots? You don't have carrots? Okay.
Oh.
Is there other vegetables besides celery I can do? Okay.
I mean, I could give you a side of broccoli or green beans, but I would have to charge you.
It's okay then.
With ranch, you want the wings?
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
So what were we last talking about?
We're going to say that we don't want to get into the spoilers yet, but we might have to, seeing how there's a lot to
we
talk
were talking about
about.
Infinity War. So,
Yeah.
And that I was really curious if it was going to pop up, and a lot of the pre-production for this, so I don't consider this a spoiler, was them talking about that they changed Thanos' backstory and characters. So where in the comics, Thanos is motivated by this idolization of a physical personification of death, and he wants to impress her by killing the whole galaxy. He thinks if he creates enough death that the personification of this universal construct will fall in love with him.
Yeah.
So he tries to do so by using the Infinity Stones. So in this one, they changed his motivations to more shades of gray in the movie versus the comic book series.
Okay.
And so that's where the basis of it comes from. Now, I've been wondering if death wasn't going to pop up, and they didn't, and it's not spoiler because they specifically said they changed it. So I was curious because in Guardians of the Galaxy, when Peter Quill is getting the orb, the purple orb, the Power Stone.
Power Stone,
I
yep.
believe. Which is the name of a fantastic Dreamcast game, by the way. Like a square arena Smash Bros. Game.
Yeah.
Where it moves on a grid base, as opposed to just playing back and forth. You can move, in 4 directions.
Okay.
So, anyways, that's a random side note. There's the mural of like the elementals or the Eternals. So kind of like how you have the Infinity Stones or Infinity Gems that represent all these different facets of existence. You have the Eternals that represent like life and death, and then there was 2 others I can't remember, like madness or order and chaos. Maybe might have been the 4 things that made up the universe. So Death is one of those personifications that exists in the Marvel Comics. She has a big relationship with Deadpool, which kind of makes Thanos jealous, because Deadpool can't die.
Is this in the comics?
Yeah, in the Marvel comics.
Oh, okay.
So
that's right. 'Cause Deadpool
Death
is
has this
Marvel.
thing for Deadpool, and then in the Deadpool video game, there's a whole section where Death pops up, and it's interesting. So sometimes Death's portrayed as a female skeleton, sometimes it's a female with a skeleton head, sometimes it's a female.
Yep.
So there's all of that there, and my phone is buzzed because the NFL draft's going on, and I got ESPN notifications binging.
Oh, of
right
course.
now. So that's where the comic books kind of come from, is that idea of Thanos, and they tweaked it for this.
Yeah.
So if we're going to talk about other stuff that I like, just general ideas from the movie, reactions and thoughts, I thought they do separate the characters up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that helps develop, because you get like A plot, B plot, C plot, or however many plots. But maybe there's like 4 different groups of characters, kind of.
Yeah.
And I think they did a good job managing that well enough that there's a couple people. Black Widow didn't get a whole lot to do. Hulk got a little bit to do.
A little bit. And then
War
Captain
Machine
America
didn't get a ton. Captain America, some of them are stay a little bit more static than the others, where they're just helping out or planning something, and others are physically going to do something.
The one who probably got, and I don't know, I don't think this is totally spoilers, but the one who probably got the most screen time was Iron Man. Was Tony Stark. He probably got the most attention brought, because he was there at the start, the middle, and then the end.
Yeah, the constants.
Where other characters didn't really come in until the middle or more towards the end.
Or they pop in and pop back in a later day. Like there's a longer break between them. So, because Spider-Man, Strange, and Iron Man are like one unit.
Yep.
So and that's actually a rather fun personality to play with, because you've got 2 facial hair bros. There's an actual comic out there of high-fiving. Like, Tony's begging, keep on high-fiving, and Strange is no, I'm not going to do it.
Yep.
And then eventually Strange relents and high-fives.
Yep.
And then Tony is, Peter is the young, curious, always one trying to impress Stark, and then he's in between the middle of 2 parrots.
I feel bad. I feel so bad for him, because he just wants to be a hero and a good guy, and Tony Stark is no, calm down. And it's come on, let him learn his lesson at least.
Well,
Yet again, he wants to protect him.
But that's the thing, is if he learns a lesson, I don't know, he went crippled.
Oh my gosh,
At best, War Machine.
Yeah. Rip.
I don't know, what was, do you guys have a favorite aesthetic from the movie? Was there a particular, spoilers, so I don't know. Is there anything you guys want to talk about before we get to the big warnings of doom? Spoiler, do not listen any further. I mean, there is a post-credit scene. There's one. It's at the end of the credits. So stay for that. So anyone who doesn't want to get spoiled before they go to the movie, anything else they should know, thumbs up, thumbs down. Let's give it a basic, thumbs up, thumbs down, 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs down.
I'll give it a thumbs up.
1 or 2. Max is 2. So the scale would be 2 thumbs down.
I'm gonna give it 1.
1, 2.
I'm gonna give it 1. And reason being is the twist on how it all ended. It's different. It's different than all these other hero movies we've seen. It's definitely different, and that may either be very upsetting to people or very exciting. Hopefully exciting, of course, for Hollywood's sake. But I'll give it 1 thumbs up.
Sarah, I know you're the most mixed one here of our group.
Yeah, Sarah.
Honestly, I do have to go with 2 thumbs up, because even though it aggravated me, especially at the ending, I think overall it's just a pretty gutsy thing for them to do, and I think it might actually turn out okay, depending on how everyone else thinks. But I think it was just an interesting way for them to spin, the pretty static comic book story.
Oh, yeah. John?
I would give it 2 thumbs up, and I'm going to say I think it's going to be one of those movies where, kind of like Civil War, where I don't think there's a ton of rewatchability, because I don't think there's a lot of Easter eggs or little things like that buried. I mean, there might be a couple.
Maybe 1 or 2.
Where it's not a movie where there's so much plot, detailed plot, that you would need to rewatch it multiple times. Or where it's not going to be the greatest cinematic drama or writing at that point. But I think in terms of the part of storytelling of how they've tied 10 years of movies together, and really they brought back some loose ends or bookends that I never thought would be ever spoken about again into this movie, and I'm that's really neat. And so I'm going to give it 2 thumbs way up. 2 thumbs way up, because I don't think there's anything else been done in comic book movies like I've talked about at this point, specifically not with Marvel to any extent. And I keep thinking Dark Knight. I don't want to go fully Dark Knight because it's in a different way, but I think maybe because I love so much what they did with the villain, and Thanos to me to some extent is burn it all down kind of method to the madness character,
but not for just straight chaotic evil reasons.
Right.
He actually has
more relatable. You kind of understand where he's going, and you feel him, but you still disagree with him in general.
The Joker was kind of a chaotic neutral evil because he was an agent of chaos in his mind to show how messed up everyone was.
How messed up everyone was, right, yes.
But, so there was a method to some extent to the madness. Thanos isn't complete madness, it's just full on, because Thanos isn't crazy.
Thanos is more like Bane, if you want to compare it to Dark Knight.
Kind of, at least what you initially think of Bane.
Yeah.
Because then Bane turns into just it's not necessarily a sidekick, but subservient and, a disposable piece of the plot. But where you can see the method to the madness, or the method to the evil. Yeah. It's a necessary evil is how it's viewed. And so I think I really, really like this out of almost all the Marvel villains so far.
Yeah.
And I'm someone, it's a cliffhanger ending, and it's a part 1 and part 2. And I think I really like it when a story has the guts to not pull the punches, to fully connect, and even it's not going to worry about what it thinks to the audience. And it's not doing it just for the sake of shock factor, where Batman versus Superman, it was let's just do this for the hell of it and make it dark and gritty for the hell of it. This isn't dark and gritty for the hell of it. It goes really, really dark, and then it hits the Joss Whedon thing to then tell a joke, for God's sake. Go dark, go deep, twist the knife. But then, for the love of God, tell a joke.
Twist the knife?
Because humans need that.
Yeah.
You can't just keep going melodrama.
If it goes too dark, then you lose it.
You have to go emotional ups and downs, so
the
people
psychology of it.
Don't wear out too far. And I think this does a great job with all that. So I'm rambling here. We are going to take a quick break here and maybe eat some apps. And if not, we will jump right into the spoilers of the Bulldog Radio review of Avengers Infinity War, where we gave our basic review. Then we can go super hyper detailed in just a moment. So disclaimer. I said disclaimer, right?
We shall also warn all of Applebee's.
Well, luckily it's clearing out here. We're in a safe corner. So, okay, this is the second part of our Avengers Infinity War review and discussion, I think is what it's going to be, because we've already kind of given our spoiler version of the review, our feelings on it.
Yep.
Now I think we're going to go in chronological order of plot points of the movies. So, warning now, I've given you enough warnings already. For the love of Thanos and Loki.
For the love of Thanos.
For the love of Odin.
Your new god. Odin.
Basically. For the love of everything, this is spoilers. So, just going to go in order. I think we're going to go over each plot point. So, the movie starts off with...
basically the end of Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. So, they're on the giant spaceship.
Yep.
And...
they're going off into space,
There's a distress signal. They're, yelling for help.
Yep.
And then it cuts to it, and, everybody's dead.
The whole ship is just about dead. Except for Loki, Thor, and then...
half dead, gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Yep, him.
Frick. It's on the tip of my tongue, and it's going to bug the crap out of me. Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Idris Elba as a Heimdall. There we go.
There you go.
So, basically, they're like, I think they're probably following for Loki, or they just run into each other. Probably coming for Loki, since Loki has the Tesseract.
Probably.
And they kill Loki.
Yep, because Thanos and his crew, which probably they all have their own backstory.
It's the Black Hand of Thanos. They develop them a little bit more in pre-release material.
Okay.
But they're all like Gamora.
Yeah.
They're more people who've bought into Dr. Ace or been brainwashed or whatever.
Yep.
Basically, evil Avengers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they raid the ship and they are very merciless. They kill everybody and immediately start demanding for the... Which stone was this? This was the...
Tesseract, which...
Had the
space, I think.
Space stone.
So where they could warp, like they could jump through space.
Yep.
Is what the Tesseract is. So, they ask for it. They say, no, we're not going to give it. We have a Hulk, like he looks like he's about to give it to him, and then it's like actually Hulk, so Loki's not actually evil. And Hulk comes in, and Hulk and Thanos fight.
Yeah,
which,
that line that...
and we have a Hulk.
And we have a Hulk. That was a
throwback.
Recycled. Yeah, that was a recycled.
He's Loki himself has passed the PTSD of Hulk.
I think it was perfect that they had Loki say that, because it was Tony who said that to Loki in the first Avengers, which I thought was perfect.
And then how'd the fight go?
Well,
Really quick.
Hulk, yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
Hulk got his ass beat. Excuse my language.
Like he got punched in the neck.
Yeah.
And it like phased him.
Yeah, it really got him. So at that point, the dude who he said was kind of half dead.
The gatekeeper.
Heimdall.
Yep. Heimdall, I assume, kind of warped him back to Earth.
Yeah, Bruce
Yeah.
Banner. Hulk is like fading and turns into Banner a little bit.
Yep.
And they send him back to Earth.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, shit.
Yeah.
So it establishes Thanos immediately as a threat, which we all kind of knew.
Yep.
But it's like Hulk, who's been literally unstoppable.
Oh, yeah.
Like the only issue Hulk has is that he can't do everything at once. Like nothing else can stop it. The voice is just like he couldn't save all of New York by himself because he can't like fight 100 different monsters that are attacking 100 different spots of the city.
Right.
It doesn't work.
Right. Now, so afterwards, Thanos kills Loki.
Yep, just basically, it's like, yeah, because Loki tries to stab Thanos.
Yep,
He tries to do the little betrayal of Thanos, and Thanos is like,
Which one? Oh. Our appetizers are here.
so we'll take a break. So we're wrapping up our appetizers a little bit. We're still going to be snacking. So while my mouth's full, everyone else talk, please.
Yeah.
So Loki tries to stab Thanos.
Yep.
Which is a fun betrayal because he keeps stabbing Thor in all the movies.
Yeah.
And so...
It's a signature move.
But Thanos is like, yeah, no, we're not falling for this crap anymore. Like you messed up already in the first Avengers way back.
Because that's when Loki was first working for Thanos, quote unquote.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, that's a very long casting gig for like Josh Brolin to like pop up in like 1-2 movies, and then now he gets in the movie.
Yeah, right.
a while.
Again, yeah. So they kill off Thor. He is the first. Or sorry, not Thor. Loki. He's
Thor's
the first,
still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive. Loki's the first to die of the original characters.
And then they kill off Heimdall.
Heimdall, yep.
Because like Heimdall's like, well, crap. Send Hulk back to Earth.
Yep.
Like we talked about. And then they kill Heimdall.
Yep. After Thanos gets the Tesseract, the stone from there, the Space Stone, we zoom over to Earth.
Now I'm going to touch upon this really quick. So, Sarah, you're really upset that they killed Loki.
Yeah.
Why?
I like his character.
I mean, we did just sit next to someone who had a Tom Hiddleston, literally like a homemade Tom Hiddleston sweatshirt.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, yes, he's a very attractive man. I will not deny that one. But I don't know. I just like the Loki character in general, the trickster. You never know what he's going to do. Is he going to side with the good guys? Is he going to side with the bad guys? How many times is he going to trick people until they finally realize what he's doing?
Is it really tricking if we all know he's betraying? Like, they call that in the Thor 3. Like, it's this game. We're pattern. I trust you. You betray me. We do it all again.
Exactly.
We're like
over.
Thor betrayed Loki.
How he is. He's trying to decide his loyalties.
That, or he really has no loyalty and he just wants to come out on top.
Well, I think this movie kind of
I
finally
think he
settled
is
it.
at least to Thor.
Finally
himself.
settled it, yes. He was. Good. Oh yeah. I would say that this movie finally settled his loyalty because instead of trying to actually side with Thanos and work with him again, he actually tried to kill him. And although he failed miserably, it actually almost worked out for him.
I mean,
he didn't even get within a foot of him.
No.
as much as Loki is typically considered a villain, I doubt even he would want half of the universe to. Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's more self-serving villain than evil villain. And by the end of Thor Ragnarok, they kind of settled all this. But I think it was a really effective way to say, hey, this movie means business. It's not just a comic book movie. We're all going to make it to the end. We're going to start, and it's not just going to be Phil Coulson, this guy we've had a little bit here, an ancillary character, who really, I'm really upset that they don't have Coulson at all, because he's been alive. They brought him back for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they've had to cure that, but whatever. That's Kevin Feige being a butt about not including TV stuff. Even just like cameos. Like Daredevil should just get like 5 seconds of like, oh no, New York's getting destroyed. I'm going to go look at this thing.
I love to see Iron Fist pop
this.
up and start complaining.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he starts telling the giant, space creature, like, hey, dude, I am the immortal Iron Fist, you know?
Yeah.
But they really made it serious by killing off a beloved character right away.
Right in the beginning,
and it created weight. So then they go to New York. So I think we're going to start moving things along, but I think that the fact that they killed Loki so quickly really set things up.
Yep.
So, change scene. Tony Stark is being very gay with his girlfriend or wife in the park.
Oh, yeah, they're talking about baby.
Yeah, they're talking about having a baby.
Yes.
And then suddenly, who shows up for? Oh no!
Wait.
Who shows up first? Is it the Hulk? No.
Does he
What shows up
crash
first
immediately?
is the Hulk or Banner crashing into the house of Doctor Strange.
Yep.
He comes in. Doctor Strange looks at him. Who are you? And Hulk or Bruce Banner.
At that point,
the first thing that I noticed about Bruce Banner is that he's panicking. He has this panic look in his eye, and he's
usually confused, but he's never panicked.
Yeah, he's never panicked before. This is a huge character development for Bruce. For both Bruce and the Hulk, throughout this whole movie, they're both scared. You never see him, you see him worried and confused, but you never see him scared. Because he's the Hulk. You don't mess with the Hulk.
In any other situation, Bruce Banner is immortal. Like no matter what happens to him, the Hulk will come out and like he talked about putting a gun into his mouth and he spits out a bullet. As the Hulk.
But at this point in time, the Hulk just got his butt kicked by Thanos. So, seeing how the Hulk failed, Bruce is now thinking, oh, we're all gonna die.
He knows how much of a threat that Thanos actually is. He's not someone to be, belittled by any means.
Because whenever, if you remember in the first Avengers, when Loki's yelling at the Hulk, oh, I'm a god, you can't do this to me, and he tosses him around.
Yeah.
This is totally different.
Very.
I mean, because if you look at the height of the Hulk and the size of Thanos and the Hulk, they're almost the same. They're both tall, they're both big.
But the Hulk just barely, not even phases Thanos. Thanos takes a few hits and he's like, oh, cute. Mm-hmm. He basically Thanos does to Hulk what Hulk did to Loki.
Yep.
But maybe even more so.
A little,
because where Loki is uncomfortable, like Hulk gets full-blown PTSD where it's played out where like Banner doesn't turn to Hulk the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Like he keeps trying to Hulk out and Hulk's like no. Like Hulk literally, like Hulkhead pops up and says no and then Banner's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and
Bleep,
the Hulk is actually scared. The Hulk is actually scared. So at this point in time, we go back to the park where Tony is talking about babies, and Doctor Strange does his portal thing, I don't know what to call it, and says, are you Tony Stark? And he's like, yes, I am. Who the heck are you? And he's like, I need to talk to you right now. And he's like, I'm a little busy, buddy. And then Bruce comes up and says, hi, Tony, this is really important.
So I think this is the first time we've really done anything quite like this. What we're going to do like Cliff Notes version of the movie, and then like pull out all the very interesting parts at the end. So we're going to talk about like just recap the movie real quick, what happens. So then you can go like, huh, and then we start we have no notepad, so this is going to get confusing.
Yeah.
So Strange is like, we need to talk, and then all of a sudden evil Black Hand people come to Earth because they know the Time Stone is on Earth. They come for Doctor Strange.
Yep.
And then they fight Tony and
the Hulk.
And the Hulk. No, Hulk doesn't come out.
Yeah, he doesn't come out.
They fight Strange, Wong, Spider-Man, and Iron Man.
Yep.
And they lose. And Strange is kidnapped. Iron Man and Spider-Man stowaway on the spacecraft that kidnapped Strange.
Spider-Man got a cool new suit. We'll talk about that later.
No, it's basically just sent to him. It's just the package of like Spider-Man's trying to stow away on a spaceship. And Iron Man's like, you know what? Don't attach to this.
You can't breathe in space.
Yep.
So he sends a rocket with a payload
with a custom built for Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah. That was in Homecoming alluded to, and he's got the Iron Spider armor on the rocket. Sends it to him. Like Iron Man sends his own armor. He sends it to Spider-Man. There we go. So then from there we cut to a lovely scene between Vision and Wanda.
Yep.
And
In
then
OTP.
they're like talking about like maybe they steal away because one side's like pro Captain America, one side's more pro Iron Man.
Also interesting in this point is that Vision has cloaked himself to look like a normal
To
person.
look like a human, yep.
You have no idea that it's Vision until you see the stone in his head.
Oh, yeah.
And then you realize what's
You
going
think, who is this guy? And it's like, oh, it's Vision? Question mark? Yeah.
And there's no naivety about anything. He says, like in other movies, like he's pausing, considering, going, well, that's interesting. There's like considering the action. So he's like full blown, like used to everything now.
Oh, yeah.
And they keep talking about how Vision is evolving more and more rapidly. And then they later talk like there's 5 different elements to Vision.
Yep.
And only part of that's the stone. And then they're attacked by other children of Thanos. Basically, children of Thanos are trying to get stones for Thanos while Thanos is getting other stones. Like
Yep.
to reduce time, Thanos has to do stuff manually himself.
Yeah.
And then they attack. They barely get away.
Yep, another Black Hand
because
comes out.
Captain
different-
America pops up with
Yes.
Black Widow and Hawk.
Hawk, yep. They are, for some reason, they're in Scotland. They just popped up there. There's probably some sort of
Well,
distress
because like
signal.
in the background materials, they're talking about
Bruce
that,
Banner called
Oh yeah, that's
Captain
right.
America
Oh, but-
on
Yeah,
a
because
phone
right
that
before
Iron Man dropped.
was calling Steve Rogers
Yep.
because Bruce Banner's like, it's the end of the universe. You should probably call, but just deal with the awkwardness.
Yeah.
Then they get attacked.
It's ready yet?
And
I can just wait until they're
So
on.
basically what- They ended up, basically what happened is that they ended up losing Vision. They all
he's
were
crippled.
supposed to
He's
have...
crippled by the Black Hand. They sort of hurt the Black Hand.
Yep.
And
But-
then they run away to get Vision help.
Yeah. But before that, the reason that Vision was in Scotland and Captain America kind of had to go hunt him down was because after the last Avengers movie, they all decided, oh, we're going to keep track of each other. And then
Where they
Civil
split
War
ways, kind of,
happened.
yeah.
Yep. So Captain America just happened to get Vision at the right time.
Well, no, they were probably following him probably following Wanda.
Most likely.
Wanda, yes.
As she stole away to have a romantic escapade, and they think they're sneaky, and Black Widow's a spy, and so you're not going to sneak away from her.
Oh, no.
So it was more like they were watching the shadows, like, okay, we need to intervene now as we have aliens attacking. So then from there they go to the Avengers in upstate New York. They talk with War Machine, who's there. The U.S. generals are like, oh no, and then the U.S. military doesn't do much, but I don't think they can
course
respond that fast to all
No,
this stuff.
definitely not.
They
So
meet up
all
with
the,
Bruce.
all the Avengers are assembled.
The remaining
minus
Avengers
Thor.
on Earth. Yep. Because Thor... Oh, yeah. So after they do all this stuff, they blow up the ship and Thor is floating in space.
Yep.
So all the Avengers are assembled, and then they're like, you know what? We need to fix Vision Wakanda. So then they go to Wakanda, and then Thor's got his own side plot going on.
Anyway, so a little before that, before they go to Wakanda, so we have all the Avengers show up, and of course, as we know from watching the trailers, there are more people there. Next scene change. We go into literally at the bottom of each scene change, it tells you where they are in the universe. It just says space, and the Guardians of the Galaxy people are rocking out. What was the song?
Rubber Band Man.
Yeah, they were rocking out to a song, and it changed to this scene, where they were actually going to the distress signal that occurred in the very beginning of the movie.
By the Asgardians.
By the Asgardians, yes. So they warp to the spot where the signal was, and they find that the whole ship is blown up.
What if we stop trying to bounce? Because we got 3 main plot points here.
Yeah.
Why don't we follow a plot point through all the way till they bisect?
Okay.
Because this is getting really confused trying to follow in movie order.
I thought we were doing chronological.
Well,
but
yeah, I'm realizing that it's hard to do chronological order for 3 different stories at once.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to bounce through.
Yeah.
So let's do Thor's story. So
Okay.
you guys could... Potato Interesting.
Okay.
What's Thor's story for this movie?
So, Guardians of the Galaxy, they're going through, and they realize that they need windshield wipers when Thor's floating body hits their windshield. They all freak out and think, oh, there's a dead body, but he opens his eyes. So they bring him in.
His one eye.
And, his one eye, yes. So they bring him in, and after...
Angel Pirate Man.
the Angel Pirate Man, yep, that's what the raccoon called him, Rocket.
The Sweet Rabbit, as Thor calls him.
Yep.
Yes, I love
He gives them the breakdown and tell them what's happening. Thor acts as the prideful god as he is.
God, that's another split point. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
They divide again. Everything keeps subdividing.
The ego of
That's the
Thor
problem.
coming up in this movie. But, so, basically what happens is that Rocket decides, oh, I'm going to go with the cool Angel Space Pirate, and we're going to go one direction, and everyone else want to go another. after talking with each other and talking about how Thanos is here and we have to do something, one half of the group, for Guardians of the Galaxy, decides, no, we need to go get him, and the other half decides we need to go get a new weapon for Thor. The other half meaning Rocket, and I guess you could count Groot, but
Groot
he's
comes
more
along as an annoying
Technically.
teenager.
as a teenager, so he really doesn't care.
Constant-
So then they want to go
playing
make
as
a new weapon, and then the other group is like, okay, well, we know where one of the stones is. So Thor's like, okay, we need to kill Thanos.
Yep.
The other group is, we should stop him from getting the stone that the Collector has from the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
From nowhere.
Thor, because Thor gave Benicio del Toro's character the ether, the red, I don't remember what that stone did, but the Dark Elves Infinity Stone, he gave him to him like a post-credit scene, or at the very end of Dark World.
Yep.
So, and then they know about that because Thor tells them, and they're like, oh crap.
Yep. So, staying on Thor, Thor makes it to, what was it called? It's basically where the dwarves were.
Dwarven something, but space dwarven thing.
Yep, Space Dwarven place. Where he goes there and he finds that the whole, I guess you could say, like, galactic factory or the nebula star there, everything's cold, shut down, nothing's moving, it's odd. He goes in there and finds one surviving dwarf, which gives him a good kick in the face before realizing who he was, played by
Peter Dinklage,
Yep.
which is amazing.
Yep. The short man himself, played as basically a small giant.
A
Michael,
giant,
like a 30-foot tall, 40-foot tall giant?
About 30,
easily.
yeah, I would say. So he has his fist.
And so he's a dwarven smith of
Smith,
the
yep.
most amazing weapons.
Yep. So they find out that Thanos was already there. In fact, these dwarvens are the ones responsible for making the gauntlet to wield.
The one dwarf was, and then all the other dwarf, like, just spare my people, I'll make you the thing, and then kills all the people.
Kills all the people
Which is
anyway.
recurrent theme.
But
Yeah.
spares him, yep.
Thanos.
So, after messing around a while and trying to find out a way to build this new weapon, the dwarf agrees to do it if they can basically restart the fire of this dwarven factory.
And basically, long and short as they do, they have to, Thor has to do an incredible feat of strength, whatever, looks like he might die, he
Yep.
does it. And the dwarf doesn't really have fists that work anymore, they're just kind of
His
molten.
were molted shut thanks to Thanos.
Thanos.
And then they're like, well, you got your mind, we can do the things for you. And it's really simple. Of Thor opens the iris, sunbeam goes through, warms up, melts whatever this special metal is,
Yep.
and pours into a preset mold.
Yep.
And then Groot wraps his vines around and creates a handle, and bam.
Because the giant Peter Dinklage had pretty
like-
much a hissy fit that he didn't have a
freak
handle.
out that we didn't have a handle
Yeah,
for
so
him.
we send Thor into space to almost die, and then, but we don't have a handle. It's all good. We don't have a handle for the thing that's preset, like we couldn't get, like, Rocket
Yep.
couldn't...
Which the new, I guess you could say, Thor's hammer is now Thor's axe.
Yes.
Axe. Yeah, it's like an axe on one end. So this one's a fun trivia discussion point. So, have you guys ever heard of Beta Ray Bill? Basically, Space Moose Thor.
No.
So I can't remember the name of the series, but basically, kind of like how the Asgardians were like the last of it on a spaceship. That's the plot. That's a plot point of Beta Ray Bill was a mutated version of his species. That, like, it was a colony ship last of the species. He was mutated to be like a super soldier to protect them while they're sleeping. Something happens. He proved himself worthy. Thor's no longer worthy, and he wields Mjolnir for a little while in the comics.
Yep.
And then Thor becomes worthy again. But Odin's like, you're really boss, because you obviously can wield this hammer. We're going to make you a weapon of your own. So Odin commissions the dwarves to make him Stormbreaker.
Yep,
So
which is
Stormbreaker-
the new hammer that is
they
in this
use,
movie,
right.
of course.
And then you can also see, like, 2 cameos of Beta Ray Bill, kind of. It's like a horse moose species. There's a skeleton in Guardians of the Galaxy when Peter Quill is raiding, like, the tomb for the orb. There's like a moose skeleton in the opening sequence. And then in the Tower of, like, Champions in Thor Ragnarok, where Hulk lives, there's like a moose head built into that, like, tower of faces. So there we go. Random side note. Continue with story time, Tristan.
Anyway. No, I like that. I thought
Geek
that was
trivia,
really interesting. Because, like I said before, I'm really curious on how the comic books play out this story compared to, how I played out in the movie. So, Thor gets his new hammer, or he more uses it as a tomahawk. So Thor gets his new weapon, and he immediately takes it to Earth, because that's where the fight ends up being in the end.
Yeah, they mentioned some sort of thing where Peter Dinklage is like, yeah, it's so powerful it can open up the Rainbow Bridge, whatever they call that, Bifrost. Yes.
Bifrost, yeah.
So this hammer now has multiple plot point conveniences stuff to put together.
Oh yeah. So
I mean, they
go
kind of
to-
had to have a way to come back after they killed the gatekeeper.
Yep. So they end up going to, is it called Uganda?
Uganda?
Uganda? that is what it's called, Uganda.
That's a real country, Tristan.
Yes, I know Uganda's a real country.
Wakanda.
Wakanda.
Wakanda?
Yes.
Wakanda. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
We're all super white here. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
like this collective skin tone is like pale.
I am a goat.
Well,
pasty.
like slightly, ever so slightly tan, and pale and pasty.
Yeah, my apologies. The Uganda Knuckles meme has been around a while, as we all know. So, Wakanda.
So that's basically when Thor joins up with everybody else.
Yep.
So then the other plot points floating up there is the Guardians.
Wakanda. Side note: Wakanda being under assault at the moment by the main bad guys.
So we'll get to that because that groups up with Captain America, Black Widow, everything. So we'll group up to that one later.
Yep.
So the Guardians, what are the Guardians up to?
So half the Guardians, like I said, went with Thor. Groot and Rocket went
So then
with
they
Thor.
tag along with him back to Wakanda.
Yep, they tag along back with Wakanda. Meanwhile, the other Guardians, we have Mantis, we have, tell me names.
Drax the Destroyer.
Drax the Destroyer.
He was really not that
No.
destroying.
Not that destructive.
He's a little underpowered in these movies,
Yeah.
which compared to the comics, what he should be always frustrates me a little bit. He should be like, he's just like relative strongman, like old school 1940s movie strongman versus like I want to see him ripped into like a mini Hulk. I want him to be more mini Hulk. Like Groot's more destructive than Drax.
Gotcha.
But like Groot's like secretly underrated.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Definitely.
So we go back to the other group, and they make it to nowhere, and I really like.
We have an important point before that.
Okay.
Gamora and Peter Quill. On the ship as they're going back, Gamora's freaking out, as you know. She's the adopted daughter
The
of
adopted
Thanos.
daughters of Thanos, which
And
it does.
yes.
They do a scene of that, of how she was adopted, how he was raiding Thanos was raiding her planet, and just took her out of the crowd and
He's a
said,
super
"Yeah."
cute kidnapper.
Oh yeah.
He's a really cute, endearing
He
kidnapper.
gave her a perfectly balanced, double-bladed knife.
Yeah.
Well, he executes half the planet behind her,
Yeah.
asking her to balance it.
Yeah, being like,
It's
"Oh,
really
look
cute.
at it! It's a nice
really
toy."
cute. It's cute though. Small little baby
Small.
Gamora with giant Thanos. Like
Yeah.
Thanos'
Yeah.
finger. It's like when a baby holds your hand. That's what it was.
Very much so.
Another side note and bit of backstory for Thanos is that this isn't his first rodeo. This isn't the first time he's tried to like take over a planet or anything like that.
It's just a long. He's been doing it for 20 years.
He's been doing it for a long time, so he knows what he's doing. So we get to the point where they go to nowhere.
Nope. I didn't get there fully.
Nope. Okay, go
Gamora
for it.
has knowledge that she does not want Thanos to get. So she tells Peter Quill that if Thanos gets her, that he should just kill her,
Because
so that he doesn't get this knowledge.
But basically, you know that she knows where there's a soul stone because they
Yes.
basically allude to it that it's a stone that he doesn't know, and then like Gamora has the look thing, and then you know, oh look thing, you know, plot point thing that's important.
Yep.
So kill Gamora so Thanos can't find the soul stone, the one move stone we haven't seen in all of Marvel yet.
Yep.
Irony.
So
Now you-
it's not in the Wakanda Pit of Vibranium, which people thought might be.
Right.
Still might be tied to, but okay.
Now you can go where they go. to.
So anyway, nowhere.
I think
Spelled.
they kiss again.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they kiss
well-
again
well,
at
yeah.
that scene, and
There you go.
the destroyer is awkwardly standing there eating the
Watching.
chips.
It's like if I'm saying I'm invisible, and he was until then they hear him.
Yeah.
They they hear a very dramatic crunch
Yeah.
and realize, oh, you're right there.
He's
How long
been
have you been
watching.
there? An hour.
Like so, before we even walked in the room, he was
He was there.
He was there, just
Yeah.
kind of just sitting there, not even sitting, standing.
ever so painfully, obnoxiously, slowly crunching.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So they get to nowhere, ironically spelled K-N-O instead of no, which I love. They get to nowhere and they find it all mysteriously quiet, like there's no one here, until they find where I'm assuming the collector is.
Benicio del Toro, fun as always.
Yep. So the collector is being what we perceive as being beat down by Thanos, while Thanos is telling him, "Oh, you Thanos, Thanos, my gosh,
There you go. Yep.
Thanos." While Thanos is telling him, "Either you give it to me or I kill you." So after a while of watching that, finally the Guardians decide to charge in. The adopted daughter.
And basically the reason they charged in is because Drax decided to be Drax and he wanted to get revenge.
Yep, he wanted
Made a
revenge.
loud noise.
Basically, the Guardians are kind of dumb in this movie, which, really fits their billing.
Yeah,
It does.
really does.
Not to say that they're incapable of things, but it's what
They're
they
less
do.
capable. That's my thought.
Yeah. So we find out that this is just a ruse, seeing how Thanos has the Reality Stone already.
Gamora tries to kill
Yes.
him, looks
Yep.
like she does kill him, and then she starts crying. And so he's like, "Oh, you do really love me," and then warps away with Gamora. And there's a whole touching scene to kill me, and Peter Quill's pointing the gun at Thanos, and then points it at Gamora. And then he's like, "Oh, he's not gonna do it," and Thanos is belittling Peter Quill, and then he shoves Gamora right in front of him.
Yep.
Says, "Do it,"
Yeah.
and he's like, "Yeah, not gonna do it." And then of course he pulls the trigger.
Bubbles.
It's hilarious.
Because, again, the Reality Stone.
Yes.
It is very good. It is
So-
the best magic trick
So
in the
yeah,
world.
nowhere is actually absolutely destroyed. It looks like the Collector doesn't exist anymore. Everything's burned to ash.
Most likely, yeah.
But the Collector, before he waves out, waves in and out. So really, he brings it back to existence for a moment and then changes the reality back to what it was.
Yep, yep. Now, so Gamora ends up being, I guess you could say, once again kidnapped by
God,
her,
here's another
by her
new plot thread.
father-in-law.
We've
Yeah.
now found the other plot thread, the Gamora thread.
Yeah.
So let's get followed Gamora all the way to the end.
Gamora
until
at the end.
it's
Go
all
for it,
done.
John.
All right, yeah, we're going to try to power through this so we can just get to discussion. There's just so as you can tell, this is a big movie with lots happening.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to do super cliff note speed. So I'm sorry, I don't want to dominate conversation, but we're going to try this. Gamora, basically father-daughter bonding time. They eventually, through manipulation of torture, Nebula get Gamora to show him where the Soul Stone is. They go to the planet there, and then the Red Skull is actually the guardian of the Soul Stone because he was banished there by the Tesseract, which was awesome. I don't think it was Hugo Weaving, though. I think it was the actor who played Peter Baelish from Game of Thrones. So there's at least 2 Game of Thrones connections here, if I'm right. He shows them there. He talks about sacrifice. You must sacrifice what you love most, exchange a soul for a soul. And Gamora's like, you don't have anything to sacrifice. And initially I thought she realized that she was going to sacrifice herself, and that really hurt Thanos. That's why she's laughing. It's like, no, you love nothing. No, Thanos loves Gamora. So he throws her off the cliff.
He
gets
actually
the Soul
loves
Stone.
her.
And he gets the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
So there you go, there's that. And then he more or less warps to Earth to
Yep.
get the remaining souls because the Black Head is incompetent.
Yep.
So from there, the Guardians are like, well, crap, we need to go,
Yep.
stop Thanos. Peter Parker and Tony Stark and Doctor
Pan
Strange.
over back to Iron Man there
Yeah.
after rescuing Doctor Strange.
Yep, they kill the bad guy by doing Alien.
Yep, they.
Yeah.
Peter Parker actually has his movie references. Actually, ended up
Helpful
saving the
now.
day.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
Yeah,
Yes.
as opposed to just making everyone feel
So
old.
after they,
Like, have you seen a old movie called Alien? And then Peter's banned for making pop culture references.
Yep.
Yeah.
Poor Peter. But the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Guardians, and Tony and Spider-Man, they all meet up and they all decide, oh, we're gonna fight.
And Doctor Strange.
And Doctor Strange, and as they're all putting guns to each other's heads, saying, if you kill him, I'll kill him, they all decide, oh, hey,
Wait, you're human. What are the odds?
You're human, and you're after who?
'Cause
Thanos? Yeah.
Peter Quill
What
thought
about him?
that some of the... Who was it that he thought someone was Thanos.
Well,
I remember.
kind of.
I
But, I mean, the Spider-Man armor and the Iron Man armor could look
Yeah.
weird.
Oh, yeah. That,
They thought they were like Thanos' assistants because they'd already run into Thanos earlier.
Yes.
And the Guardian, he hasn't been back to Missouri Earth since Footloose was a thing.
Is it still the best movie of all time? And Spider-Man's like, it never was. And,
Never
then you
was.
can just see that there's the subreddit watch people die inside.
Yeah.
And honestly, the
Yep.
gif of of the performance there for Peter Quill, Star-Lord, realizing that someone said
it
Footloose
was
is a
really good
mystery.
acting.
It was
So
good.
then that's one throw. So basically, you have those group of people on Titan. They fight Thanos for a little bit.
Yep.
And then let's go back to Wakanda. So Wakanda, everybody
Meanwhile,
else is there.
Wakanda being assaulted by the weird dogs of war.
Like
The-
super mutated Chitauri, basically.
Basically,
yeah,
yes.
they're weird.
I'd love to look into their
They almost kind of
backstory.
looked like a Venom, but not a Venom.
Yeah.
Like a Venom
like
with
a dog
2 extra
Venom.
arms.
So they've realized that they
They're
might
weird.
be able to destroy Vision's Mind Stone with Wanda because she was exposed to the Mind Stone to create her powers.
Yep.
Yes.
But they want to well, why don't we pull the stone out of Vision's head as opposed to just kill him? And then they tried to do the whole like last stand to buy time thing with the Wakandan army, Black Panther, M'Baku, the great white man-ape, and then miscellaneous remaining Avengers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they fight. And
They fight.
And then they fight.
They honestly are pretty successful, especially when Thor and Rocket and Groot show up.
I mean, they do a good job, like, kind of killing the supplementary black hands. Like, there's a cool, like, meat shredding scene, or evil film. Quota female is shredded by the giant death wheel.
Yeah.
Bruce Banner finds that the true Hulk all along was the friends you made along the way in the journey of self-discovery. And
Along with the Hulk Buster that he got to
so he
wield.
uses the Hulk Buster that's designed to shoot Hulk in space. Uses that arm to send the black hand as the space shield that Wakanda has to burn up one guy. And then Thor pops in and wrecks everybody. So Thor has his lightning power from Thor Ragnarok, and then he combines it with his axe. So his spinning axe of doom doesn't just split people in half.
His new tomahawk.
It also shoots out lightning while splitting people in half. So it's like kind of a cool, efficient crowd control.
Ultimate D&D weapon.
It's like if Kratos from God of War with his spinning chains, but like shot lightning from his spinning chains.
Him and Zeus just had a baby.
I think I want to go play God of War now. I don't think I've actually really played God of War before.
That sounds good. So now we're all kind of regrouping again, except for Iron Man and Peter Parker. They all just got done getting their butt kicked by Thanos over on Titan.
They try to grab the gauntlet off of Thanos, and then Peter Quill finds out, Gamora, oh no, has died. I'm going to try to now slap this guy while everybody else is literally holding down Thanos.
They actually had him tied
down.
Mantis
has him like semi-asleep. They're about to pull the gauntlet off.
Almost
it's like
99.9%
off.
It was on the
Peter
edge
Quill
of
just
his
sacrifices 4 billion lives.
Peter Quill was
to
being
slap.
Peter Quill.
Yep.
to slap Thanos, and then Thanos beats them all and gets the Time Stone. He stabs Tony Stark. Tony Stark doesn't die.
Yep.
You think he might? Like, oh, this might be the end.
They made it very dramatic.
And I'm like, I'll be okay with this. And then they don't, and he gets the Time Stone, and then that's the end of those people for now. In terms of interaction, none of them died at that point. And then Thanos goes to Wakanda and just messes everybody's stuff up.
Yep.
They try to destroy Vision.
Dramatic. Yep.
Yeah, because Vision got kicked out by another Black Hand person.
Yep.
Wanda and everybody stopped him.
Yep.
And Vision stabbed the Black Hand guy in the back while Captain America was fighting him, even though Vision got stabbed already to get by him. And then Thanos comes. Everybody tries to stop Thanos. They can't stop Thanos because now he's got like 5 out of the 6 Infinity Stones.
Yep. Reality Stone messes people up.
Vision, and you're like, sweet.
Oh, the
Sweet,
stone's
they
blown
blew up the stone.
Gone.
But what we did not quite mention is that seeing how they beat Doctor Strange and Tony, he has the Time Stone. And seeing how he saw what happened to Vision and the Wisdom Stone. Mind Stone, thank you. Wow, I am
Turn
very
back
bad.
time.
It's fine. You haven't seen as many. It's good to have outsider perspective.
Yeah. He turned back time immediately and managed to pretty much remake or recreate the Mind Stone right before everyone's eyes. As soon as he puts it on, Thor...
They also have a dramatic scene of Vision's body turned gray, collapsed on the ground after the Mind Stone was taken out.
Right, and then you're like, and then what's weird is that the Time Stone reverses damage done to a stone, and I thought that would be kind of one of those MacGuffin things where, like, sometimes like MacGuffin can't affect another MacGuffin sort of things. Like, this thing can't affect it because it's equal. So like you can't rebuild an Infinity Gem with another Infinity Gem.
Right.
And I thought it would play by those rules. It's like, nope, just time. It comes back. Like, And then Thanos gets everything. And then he snaps his fingers.
He snaps.
And then half the universe disappears. He also disappears for a moment into a pool. Sees baby Gamora. She's like, did you do it? And what did it cost? And he says everything, and he's crying. He's crying.
And at that point is probably the biggest point where you actually relate with Thanos, because it's like, oh my gosh, is he really that much of a bad guy?
Well, and then you go back to the universe and you're like, okay, well, what just happened? He disappeared. And then everybody starts turning into, half the people, but a lot of the people start turning into ash.
We see...
So let's go with the death count. Who do we remember that dies?
Our favorites, which is going to make my friend cry, Peter Parker.
Peter Parker disappears.
His was the most probably most dramatic death.
Basically,
because
all the Guardians outside of
almost all of
Rocket.
them.
Yeah.
Outside of Rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all of them.
Yeah.
For the Avengers.
Black Panther.
Yep.
Panther.
Hawk.
Hawkeye, yeah.
Not Hawk.
Not Hawkeye, Hawk.
But just Hawk. Yeah.
Yep.
Or Falcon.
Falcon,
Sorry,
thank
Falcon.
you.
There we go.
Falcon.
Different bird. Just so many
Yep.
birds. So Black Panther, Falcon. Let's kill the minorities here,
Yep.
of course.
Who from
Wakanda.
Doctor Strange?
Doctor
He's
Strange,
gone.
yes.
Peter
Mantis.
Parker. So she's a Guardian.
Yep.
What other normal? Black Widow still exists.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's still there, yeah. Captain America's still there.
Hulk is there.
Still there. Or Bruce, yep.
Basically, it's easier to say who's still there. So basically, maybe the original Avengers exist.
Just about the originals.
And original exists plus War Machine.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the captain of the Black Panther Guard exists.
Yep.
Yeah, the Scarlet Witch did die.
Yep. The Scarlet Witch also disappeared. And Tony is left alone on Titan.
Yeah, and so that's all.
Still.
Like he sprayed himself with ice thing or whatever, the
Yep.
sealant that he used in space. But yeah, it's actually, I think that's kind of on purpose. It's the original Avengers
The
left,
original Avengers.
and then it's just kind of Captain America, sitting on the ground looking shocked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, holy cow, what happened?
And
And
then
we
it-
pan off
To Thanos.
to Thanos doing exactly what he said he would do. Watch a sunset and know that he did it.
Like he's like in this little like open air tent, and he's watching farm fields on like his restored planet. Maybe
Yep.
he brought his planet back to life
Yep.
to celebrate. I don't
Maybe.
know.
Probably.
And that's the movie. It ends.
Yeah. It rolls after all the credits because we know every good Marvel movie has that very end scene of Nick Fury driving through, I'm guessing, downtown New York with his assistant.
or wherever,
Or
yeah.
wherever.
Maria Hill,
Yep.
Kobe Smulders,
Yep.
How I Met Your Mother,
Suddenly-
and a series of unfortunate events.
Oh,
Yes.
She plays the
okay.
mom in that.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Good show. Check it out.
So suddenly they find that people are disappearing, turning into ash as well, and the Fury panics and says, "Oh shoot, I better call somebody." And as he's making a call, he finds out that he's disappearing. Wow.
He's disappear.
Disappear. Yes.
He's really yelling at Maria Hill that she didn't press his laundry quite right.
Yep.
And again, she was already dead at that point.
Now this is the spot where everybody probably freaked out the most for.
Yeah, see, this is the thing I was thinking of is like, okay, so Thanos snapped his hand, right?
Yep.
He only went to kill half the universe.
Half.
But it's one of the things where, like, if half the people disappear, like, anytime this happens in science fiction, okay, but then there's still, like, the helicopter pilots, the train conductors, the bus drivers, they disappear too, so then all the collateral damage happens.
Yep.
And so you see a helicopter start crashing and some cars crashing.
Yep.
It's a lot more tame than initially I thought might be.
Oh yeah.
And then...
It's because it happened more gradual.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
a sudden,
So-
everyone's dead. Everyone started slowly disappearing.
What John
Half
noticed
the
is
people.
that
Yes.
Fury plugged something into a pager and hit send.
Because obviously this random guy has a pager.
Yep, the pager drops
Fury.
and it zooms in on the pager of sending, and as soon as it's sent,
It's got like a little star logo.
yep, it shows another logo and colors in which a lot
But it's
of
on a
us-
pager screen. So
Yep.
it's a color pager,
It's colored,
which is
yeah,
weird.
It's interesting. It shows something that a lot of us, including you, probably you guys, our listeners, a lot of us have not seen in a long time. The symbol of Captain Marvel.
Or Marvel, so it sounds less cheesy, but it's really just a workaround. And then it goes red and blue as well, like the color scheme of her costume. So Nick Fury's walking around like for all of eternity with this little chip he can plug into any device.
Yep.
So like in worst case scenario, it's called Captain Marvel. So he's like, well then why didn't he have this during like the Call of New York? Well maybe because he had enough Avengers. Like
Yeah.
so
Right,
maybe
right.
why is this
Maybe
option?
Captain Marvel was the last stand, the last straw. That or
Well, yeah,
maybe
because
he
if
met her recently.
if everyone's literally died, and so the Captain Marvel movie is going to be set in the 90s. So let's just start. So I don't know really how much discussion we can have because everything just kind of happens.
Yeah.
Like so, we talked about how we enjoyed Peter Dinklage. I don't know the deaths though. Let's go back. Let's rewind a little bit. So we kind of described what happened. Let's just go back. Like where are the super spoiler discussions you want to have?
Yep.
I think the big one is Peter Parker.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So
Were you crying? Like everyone's getting super
Yes.
emotional because they just start. Not just a couple deaths along the way, but everybody
so
dies.
many deaths.
Now, I don't have that much of an attachment to the new Peter Parker and the new Spider-Man, but I know a lot of people do because he's the kid. He's just the, high schooler? He's just the high schooler that everyone can relate to.
In the beginning, he jumps out of his school bus
he
to go.
jumps out of the school bus.
While his friend's like yelling, "Oh no, we're all gonna die!"
Yep. Hey, I need a distraction. Whoa! Basically, we all saw it. He gave Mr. Stark a hug and said that I didn't want to die.
He died in Tony Stark's arms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Saying, "I don't want to die."
Had to give Tony some sort of
Like the realization of his worst fear of this kid.
Actually dying.
So this guy who already has PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was just emotionally traumatizing.
Yep, and then Loki. Loki getting hung by the hand of Theos.
Yeah, they snapped his neck with a very like popping crunchy sound.
Oh yeah, crunchy.
Like not just like a go whip.
More crunchy than the chip that that he was eating.
No, but Gamora too. Mm-hmm. Just how it happened.
Well, yeah, because she gets thrown off, and then it's not just like her body disappears into a bottomless pit. It's like just impacts.
It shows it on the ground.
1,000 feet below.
Yep.
Laying there.
Of her.
So she should have been like a little bit more smooshy.
Well, yeah.
we didn't mention the red skull. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mentioned
Yeah,
it vaguely.
mentioned
Oh yeah, he was there. Yep.
So I thought it was because it said Peter Baelish.
Yep.
So other things. We're just talking out of deaths here. I'm curious. So we're going through. So everything's everyone's confused now. What do we do next?
Yep. What happens next?
But you know how Strange says the reason he gave the time stone because all that was left was the end game.
That this is the only way that this could happen.
Right. We have to play for the end game now.
Because he saw the future that only one possible way
They won.
And he decided, well, this was not the one possible way, so
I'm assuming
here we
not.
go.
But he said endgame. I initially thought like he had an enchantment. So initially, like not the time stone itself, but the housing of it had an enchantment that it super burns anybody who grabs it.
Yep.
Obviously, Thanos doesn't impact it at all. Like it burns the other black hand of him, but not Thanos at all. But I thought when he gave Thanos the time stone,
It was
that
not
the time stone.
from the locket.
Right, well, he
That's the
separated
thing.
it from the locket because the locket just got crushed. That he put something, enchantment or something with the time stone where the time stone would mess with Thanos.
Yep.
Like, I'm hoping this isn't like fever dream, alternate reality time stone, but where like the time stone is gonna do something where Doctor Strange had a plan in play with his time stone where it's gonna like impact it where it's like a super giant big, hopefully not a reset button because then you lose all action or consequences. Like my least favorite episode of Doctor Who, there's a big red reset button. So then everyone whose lives got even slightly improved or gained or learned something valuable along the way and experienced a journey, it got reset and it just sidestepped.
Yep.
And so I don't think that's a way to fix the story, but I do think time travel shenanigans are going to come in play,
Time
right?
travel shenanigans.
Most
I love that.
definitely.
Yes.
Shenanigans.
Because the
Or
way that
then
Doctor
reality.
Strange led off is that this is the way things had to happen
And then he
to
disappears.
make that one ending
Or
where they
something.
win.
Yep.
It's kind of what he
But-
alludes to, but it's not completely
Yes.
clear. There was like a moment with like Thanos whispering into, was it Iron Man's ear or was it Captain America's ear?
Iron Man.
Yeah, and so you're wondering if there's some things going on there too.
Yep.
Something about them
Thanos
having a
said-
similar.
Yeah,
burden
Thanos said
or
that
something.
that Iron Man has his respect because they're both very intelligent.
Yeah, he knew Iron Man. He says, "You're not the only one with resources." So I thought it was interesting that Thanos would concern himself with Tony Stark.
Yep.
So maybe if he's interested in Earth, that it has the stones, he'd learn about Earth's most recognizable superhero celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, Tony Stark holds his own. He's got his new nanotech armor, which is similar to like the Black Panther armor that comes out from the necklace and turns into a fusion suit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's interesting because then he like starts like losing his armor because it gets worn away. The nanites can't keep up with the amount that's getting blown away.
Yep.
But it worked relatively well.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea how he's getting home though.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
No.
Well, either the nanobots will slowly just kind of recreate a suit, or he's gonna get rescued by somebody.
I got it. So, is there any other speculation you guys want to talk on before we get to Captain Marvel, or do we want to just jump into Captain Marvel?
No. I have two big things. One, the new ship that I have of Spider-Man and Mantis,
Oh, dear Lord.
because there multiple times
He
that
like 15, she's like 30.
Because they're bugs.
because they're
not
bugs.
30.
Because Thanos made that comment, "Get out of here, you bug," and he hits Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man is literally at one point swinging through the falling structures, trying
To
to
be
save
fair,
Mantis.
that was the only way he could save Peter Quill, Drax,
Yeah, he saved
and
like,
Mantis.
like Spider-Man saved like 5 people from getting like at least severe spinal contusion.
Oh yes.
But yeah, maybe not as like a ship, but maybe as like a friendship pairing, as in like a new bros. Like
Right,
you have
like,
sci-
oh, you're-
like
you're
you got
part
science
bug
bros,
too, yeah.
like Bug Squad or something.
Bug Squad. Well, we have Ant-Man who wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, let's there wasn't Hawkeye either. Like they
Interesting,
allude
yeah.
to those two.
Oh
they
my
write
gosh.
them out. They
New Avengers movie.
So initially,
Bug Squad.
Initially, when they cut to Thanos, it's like a tent on like a grassy hill.
Yep.
I thought it was like cutting to Hawkeye's new farmhouse, like in the middle of China or something. Or I just thought it was gonna cut to like, oh no, everybody's dead. What do we do now? Hawkeye saves the day. Because like everyone's making memes and jokes like, where's Hawkeye? He's
Where's
not on the
Hawkeye?
posters or anything. And there's footage out there of like on-set footage of Clint Barton. I can't remember his name. Jeremy Renner.
Yep.
On-set footage in a new costume. So I'm assuming, I think they filmed the movies back to back, which is the only way they could coordinate that many
Most
cast
likely,
members.
yeah.
Right.
So my speculation on outside of Captain Marvel is that Thanos messed with the wrong guy. We all know that cute farm scene from Avengers 2, that was the best part, was Hawkeye has a cute family and
Yeah.
kids,
Yep.
and a third kid on the way that's going to be named after Natalie.
Yep.
They did make a mention
little
that,
baby Nathan.
Ant-Man and Hawkeye weren't there due to, well, at least for Hawkeye, his family.
Right, and
It was
Ant-Man too,
taking
because
too
he's
much
got his
of a
daughter.
toll,
Right,
yeah.
right, to be
Yep.
arrested
So they
in
wanted
super
to
military prison.
Be
Yep.
out of it.
So they got some sort of plea deal that they didn't explain, but what if the next movie is literally it's just Hawkeye versus Thanos? Hawkeye wins because Thanos killed Hawkeye's family by snapping his fingers. And then Hawkeye's like, mother, I've got some beef with you.
Yeah.
And then he takes the time gauntlet and fixes everything.
I mean,
If Hawkeye can handle
I don't know. That's the
That's
thing.
Hawkeye.
yeah,
That's Hawkeye.
That's true.
But again-
What can't his Hawkeye?
Sharpshooter of the West.
What can't his arrows against
Could we have Ant-Man shrink down and somehow get the gauntlet?
Get inside the gauntlet.
Well, yeah,
But again, Bug Squad. Bug Squad.
like he shrinks down between the jewel housing and the gauntlet and just grows and pops each jewel out.
Pop seed
Yeah,
joint.
something like
somehow,
that,
something
honestly.
like
But
that,
I'd imagine
yeah.
him touching each thing would kind of kill him. So
Oh yeah, at that.
Unless they make the spin
Maybe.
that he's somehow worthy of them.
where
They
the
could,
PIM
but-
particles insulate one from the Infinity Gauntlet. So science, magic-y,
Oh, yeah.
random coincidence thing. So that I just want to go off a Hawkeye rant because
Yeah, go for it.
the whole internet was exploding that where's Hawkeye and like, oh well he'll be in it. Don't worry. Well, his name's in it. So you said you had 2 plot points.
So second one is with Bruce and the Hulk. Maybe not. Well, yes, both Bruce and the Hulk both being terrified, and the Hulk being so terrified that he doesn't even want to come out. He doesn't want to see the world.
Initially, it was like performance anxiety issues, and I'm like
Yeah,
laughing.
Sarah, you mentioned that the Hulk is going to need some psychotherapy.
Most definitely. I mean, I'm a psychology major, so I obviously think about this kind of thing. But it almost felt like Bruce was kind of going through a multiple personality thing, whereas I mean, he kind of does that anyway, but the Hulk part of him was so terrified that it would not come out. And then the real him is like, hey, come on, come out.
Come on, yeah.
I know you're there, come on.
Yeah.
But he hid.
Has there been anything that you ever studied where someone has, because initially the Hulk is more seen as like a primal rage, like a primal force, like the rage
Yeah.
inside of all of us, and it's become slowly more like intelligent over the movies, and it's turned into from just internal rage issues, anger management metaphors, to split, personality kind of, or 2 characters, 1 body.
Kind of.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen something where someone has split personality disorder, where one of the personalities experiences a traumatic event where the other one is not as affected by it?
Right.
Like,
Well,
that could be it right there.
I mean, yes, but first of all, the most psychologists don't believe in multiple personalities anymore. A lot
Oh,
of
yeah?
it can be caused by physicians and really susceptible clients that their physician or psychiatrist goes, oh, I think you have multiple personalities. They have multiple personalities to conform to it. There's documented cases of that happening. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's,
see,
More
learn something
skeptical.
new every day.
yeah,
Gotcha.
it's a thing.
Okay. But yeah, again, with not Bruce, with the Hulk just being scared, I thought that was probably one of the most interesting things. Because like I said before, the Hulk was never scared until now. So I don't know, maybe this is almost like where the Hulk, or just about anybody, has met their match. Because Thanos won.
Well, it's the kid, maybe, like, as some young individual who's super confident about everything. Mm-hmm. It's that one kid who always gets the A in every class.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where with Hulk, it's like, or the athlete who's like amazing and never has an issue, like
and
the star basketball player.
Suddenly he got second place.
And then the star basketball player or the athlete, either way, like you're getting an A and then you go from A to F instantly, like in the biggest exam of your life, you get an F and it destroys you emotionally. Or the playing basketball player, LeBron James goes from being LeBron James, like gets to the NBA. And doesn't just have struggle, like completely gets kicked out of the NBA. He's so bad he gets dunked on by everybody. Like that's literally what happened, is that the Hulk got dunked on more vicious than anything else in history.
Oh yeah.
I want to mention about the Scarlet Witch and how she's the only one that can destroy the stones. Mm-hmm. Why didn't she just destroy that we're aware of?
Oh, true. Yeah, because she still exists.
She technically could have.
Wait, did she get phased out?
Yes. She did.
So she did get
before that happened. Couldn't she technically destroy any of the stones at that point? If she has that equivalent power, why didn't she
I don't think it's equivalent power. They said that she like matched up with that specific Mind Stone.
Specific stone? Okay.
That it was just the Mind Stone that she could affect because
that makes
of that.
more sense.
Right.
Okay, because her powers were created from the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, that's it for me. Are you ready
So,
to get on to
I think Captain Marvel, I think that's the big plot point. That's where everything goes here. So, as we left the movie theater, I'm like, wait, when's the next Infinity War come out? Like, when's the next Avengers? Because we need to pick this up. Because that plot point of just Thanos there, everyone's like, what? Is crazy. So, it comes out April next year. And then there's 2 movies in between.
Thank gosh, it's not going to be 2020.
Oh, God.
Too of a hectic year. Too much.
It's, elections and everything.
Well, we'll be watching a different station.
a different end of, half the population. I mean, elections are 50-50 for population, so that works.
Anyway.
So anyways, moving past politics. Less traumatic themes, just where everyone dies.
Oh, yeah.
So there's only 2 movies in between this one and the next Avengers movie. And it's Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel. I don't know how they're going to do Ant-Man with like half the population of the world gone.
Yep.
I'm assuming this is going to take place where they explain like the space between Ant-Man taking a plea deal to the start of this movie. Is I'm assuming when that they'll fit that in.
Yep.
So that's self-explanatory. It'll be contained. And then Captain Marvel, they've said will take place during the 90s. It'll be a 90s era movie.
Yep.
So they're going to bring back Nick Fury without an eye patch. So he probably won't be like full charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. then, because like he gets the eye patch, I think, in the line of duty.
Yep.
On his way up to that, maybe.
This is probably far before he has some sort of power.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember when he was the eye.
First getting his.
Well, no. He says he was the eye because he gets betrayed.
Oh. Okay.
Not that. So he could still be director Nick Fury. Maybe newer director Nick Fury. Phil Coulson's coming back. And then Ronan the Accuser, the blue guy from Guardians of the Galaxy, that villain, and then Ronan Accuser's like main henchman come back.
Yep.
So Captain Marvel, the backstory on her is that she's a fighter pilot. So I think kind of Hal Jordan from DC Comics, fighter pilot.
Yep.
Marvel, alien, who's disguised as human. Something happens to him. He gets her blood transfusion to her, something kind of like that, where DNA gets mixed up, and she, like Spider-Man, but alien.
Like Spider-Man, but with an alien.
Spider-Man, and so she gets like super like flight, strength, invulnerability, and like shoot energy beams from her hand, kind of thing.
Yep.
So she's like the biggest gun.
Apparently she's coming in like the biggest gun. Yes.
Comparable to Thor, and Thor like shoves an axe and Thanos' chest, and it does seem to really hurt him.
Which, as Thanos said, you're a fool, you should have aimed for the arm instead of
well,
the
it
chest.
says for the head.
Yeah, the head.
But I'm like, or the arm.
Or the arm. The arm would have worked as well.
Either way.
Because it cut clean through him. There was blood on the blade.
It's sad. It didn't seem to go completely through his chest, but it's also very thick chest.
Right.
But like very deeply embedded. So it hit.
Yep.
And then he snaps, and then he's popped over somewhere. So I wonder if Thanos will deal with the lingering injury from Thor's axe. And then Captain Marvel, 1990s setting.
Yep.
She's getting called in now 2018.
Yeah,
with a pager.
Where's she been?
Right. So I'm wondering.
Well, with a pager, maybe she's on Earth, still on Earth. Hence why she.
Well, it's got a weird transmission. So I'm wondering if I'm thinking there might be some time travel shenanigans. Some Reddit theories I've seen and things like that where that. Nick Fury is like, the last time I saw her was in the 90s, and then she disappeared. Something with the time stone pulls her. She's part of the Endgame, and maybe something with the time stone pulls her out of the 90s because she didn't get viewed anytime since then.
Right.
And pulls her to the present. And so she comes up like 2-3 weeks, like a month or so, 6 months before this movie. So she's relatively new to the present before anything else. So that's
comes back from Land Before, and, almost like Captain America.
Right. But just time travel through time and space versus
legit
ice.
Through time and space. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or she's frozen.
Yep.
Or she's in deep space somewhere. But I'm assuming if she's in deep space and half the galaxy is getting messed up, she'd be responding faster.
Right.
Those are my thoughts. I don't know. Do you guys have any other thoughts on?
Again, because they're just kind of pulling her out of nowhere, and if this new Captain Marvel movie is going to come out and be based in the 90s, again, it questions, idea. Okay, I got an idea.
Yep.
What if the message that Fury sent wasn't directly to Captain Marvel? What if it was sent to someone who was like holding her? Like the US government or the world government, someone decided she's too dangerous to keep.
He did say it was sending it to HQ.
Yeah, so maybe they imprisoned her and like put her in cryo sleep or something until he decided, all right, we're only going to bring her out when we need her most, just in case she doesn't turn on us.
I'm assuming they wouldn't do that same thing over again because they've already sort of hit that plot point with like the initial Avengers initiative of like, Hulk, how do you know they're not going to turn on us or whatever, or we're going to try to imprison the Hulk. It's been explored a lot in comics to some extent of imprisoning people. So I'm hoping it's not that. But I'm thinking, I'm wondering, if it's like cryo sleep or something.
Yeah,
or maybe,
maybe
something happened in the movie where she was in cryo sleep and like she got the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for you dorks out there, where like super hurt in the 1990s and she's recovering from injuries, and so they can't really wake her up. But it's like, now or never break the glass.
Maybe she ran away. Maybe she ran away and decided, like, don't ever come talk to me again, and Nick Fury knew that this pager was the only way to contact her.
Well, I think it's a device attached to a pager that he pulled out of the backseat.
Right.
So it's
still.
It's a little transmitter he can hook into anything. It just happens to be a pager.
Yeah. But yeah,
it's been funny if it was like a super old cell phone.
Maybe Marvel decided to run away and it's like, don't ever bother me again. Maybe she was hurt.
I'm assuming though that they'd bring her back earlier. Yeah. But I don't know.
I know.
So I'm wondering what that is, because there has to be a logical excuse for why, like, if aliens invade into the sky.
Why does Nick Fury not call her in earlier?
For the first two Avengers movies.
Also, when this first occurs, is it because the Avengers were disbanded? Is that why Nick Fury maybe doesn't react right away? Because before...
Are you talking about which parts? This movie?
In this movie, yes. Before people start disappearing, disappearing because Thanos got all of the stones, and the Earth was attacked, and it was all over the news. That's why other people found out about it. Why didn't Fury react faster? Was it because the Avengers were disbanded and he's like, they're probably already on it?
I think it's...
Or was he doing behind the scenes action?
I don't know. I think there's maybe they might have played with the time a little loose and fast with this, because they showed, Iron Man disappeared, and then they got the Avengers doing things a little bit by getting attacked by people.
Right.
But I'm wondering if when Thanos snapped it, maybe it hit at different points, because it looked like they had just reacted to the ring. Well, no. Maybe they're trying to
driving down the street normally, and then people disappeared.
Because they didn't react to any of the ring ships being.
Well, because this is probably after the ring ships, and the ring ships are only in certain locations.
Yeah.
So maybe they're driving to some new base to react to something or to follow up on something.
Maybe.
And then they're like, I don't know. I think it might be just don't think about it.
Yeah, just they didn't bother to put it in.
But for the most part, that might be the most minor of all the details. Like, there's not really any other big plot points I can point at, because outside of Peter Quill being a dumb butt,
dumb asshole,
and the handle for the axe.
Yep.
I don't think there's any other plot holes I can poke a hole in here. So yeah, I think that's everything I've got to say. I think they're turning the lights off on us too, so we should probably get going.
Yep. All right.
So we closed it down here off of the Bulldog Radio review and discussion of Avengers Infinity War. Thank you so much for listening. Follow us at Bulldog Radio FSU, like us on Facebook, all that cool jazz. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
Go see the movie. I'm going to go watch it in IMAX now.